and it is officially 6:30 if you would like to get started.
Okay, let's do that. Shall we establish a quorum?
I'd be happy to do so. I'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Dixit.
Present.
Commissioner Bedard.
Here.
Commissioner Carter.
Here.
Chair Wheeler.
Here.
And Commissioner Liu. Ying, can you hear us? Commissioner Liu?
Here.
Oh, perfect. All right, so we do have a quorum to go ahead and begin.
Great. Would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Jamie?
Yep, let me go ahead and bring up my shared screen.
Thank you.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So at this point, we should ask for any member of the public who would like to comment on items not on the agenda.
And I will give it just a second in case there are any hands that will be raised. And I am not currently seeing any, and I did not receive any requests ahead of time.
Okay, wonderful. So let's go to our items for consideration. The first item is the minutes. We need to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of Thursday, November 4th, 2021. Does anyone have any edits or corrections to the minutes? Okay, would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Jamie, you want to do a vote?
All right, I'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Bedard.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Carter. And Chair Wheeler.
Yes.
And Commissioner Dixit.
Yes.
All right, that does pass unanimously.
Wonderful. So Steve, would you like to make the Santa Clara Library District presentation for us?
There you go. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Let's just see. Get this started. Is that presenting correctly, or is it still all broken up? It looks like it's all broken up.
It's not the, oops.
Yeah, let me try that again.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, great. Let's see. So here's my report. So first of all, just a reminder that with the holidays season, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Does anybody else hear that, or is it me?
Yeah, I do hear it.
Okay, let me turn. Okay, I'll just go through it as best I can here. So just a reminder that the with the holidays coming upon us, the library offers lots and lots of resources for you and your family and all of our patrons for whether it's cookbooks and decorating, or we have our book and movie recommendations, lots of games, consumer reports, travel guides for those of you who are still being adventurous and going out in the world. So just remember that as you do your holiday planning, please make sure SCCLD is part of that planning. Notice that Weston Woods is now available. So you might remember this from, I don't want to say how long it's been for me, but years ago when we were kids, we had Weston Woods movies, right? So these used to be on those old 35 millimeters. Well, of course, they've all been updated and now they're digital with new content, but great organization, great company. Weston Woods has been around for a long, long time. But these are, classics, like you can see where the wild things are in the graphic there. Classic kids, short films and movies that you can enjoy from the comfort of your own home now. So please be sure to check those out. There's a virtual tour of the library. I don't know have we shown that one here, Rose? We did. Okay. So we do have those same tours that are available in our other locations. So if you wanted to see what's going on at other libraries and what they look like, you can go to our website and you should be able to see those there as well. They're located underneath the hours and locations page on our home site. So please be sure to check some of the other videos out. Although, between you and me, Los Altos was the best video. Create, dream, and discover. So these are our new library cards. So we're going to be starting a new drive soon. So we'll have all new card designs that our patrons can choose from. You can see a blue create, a green dream, and an orange discover. And the interesting thing about these cards are there are various locations on there where they can design or write words on the actual library card, and they can erase them and write something new. So it's just a fun little thing you can do with these new cards, and hopefully our patrons will enjoy that. But you'll be seeing those new cards out at the libraries real soon. Silicon Valley Reads is just around the corner. So the kickoff event is on January 27th at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be online again, so be sure to join us for that. And just a reminder that the JPA board meeting is on Thursday, January 28th at 12 p.m. It is, of course, open to anybody who wishes to attend, so please be sure to do so. And just a heads up that the Friends Forum is coming up on Saturday, February 5th. It's 9:30 a.m. That's also going to be online. And if you haven't seen your invitations yet, let me or Rose know, and we'll make sure that you get those. I think those were sent out already. I'll double check. But if you don't see those within the next couple of days, let me know. And that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Any
Hi.
questions? Pierre.
Couple things. The Friends event can't be missed.
Yeah.
Number one, it's
Thank you.
really good.
Agreed.
And I forgot what else I was going to say. Something probably.
I'll agree with that.
But the Friends thing is very good. It's always, every time I've attended, it has been excellent. So it's something that we must do.
Thank you for that.
Anybody else have questions for Steve? If not, Rose, would you provide the Los Altos report?
Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. All right, so good evening, everyone. I do want to introduce you to a couple of new staff members that we have. This is Tyler. He is one of our new library pages, and you see he has a little short bio about himself, and I just found out that his parents, I believe, are very involved in the Milpitas Friends of the Library. I think he lives in Milpitas. So it's very nice to have him join the Los Altos community. And we have Brandon as well, and he is also one of our new library pages. We're very lucky to have them join our team. You'll see statistics. Our circulation did go up this month, which we're happy to see. At Los Altos, Woodland did go down, but we're still seeing regular flow of patrons. Our programs are continuing to be regularly attended. So I think people are just checking out less physical items at the library, and items checked in kind of remained steady. Patrons served at the library also pretty steady there, and patrons served online about the same, a little bit down there. We had an outdoor family concert, and so thank you to Parks and Recs for letting us use the soccer field. We had over 200 people in attendance. It was with Sean's Music Factory, so he did a great job. The weather was great. It was on November 13th, so we had a great turnout with that event. Some upcoming things. Brian and his team are starting a kind of tech help thing on Thursdays where you could sign up for an individual 30-minute one-on-one slot to get help with various tech devices. Because it is personalized, it's nice because the librarian can work with you or whoever is interested on whatever you may need help with, whether it's library resources, apps or devices there. So we're lucky that we can offer that. There is a photography program December 8th, and that's one of the programs actually. Thank you to Carol for helping us promote that with the Stanford community as well. We're trying to get the word out with that as much as possible. And we have a librarian who's doing a series of wreath-making workshops at all our libraries. His name is Joel, and he's going to do one at Los Altos on Friday, December 10th. And the next day, we are partnering again with Parks and Recs to have a joint holiday program at the new community center. So we're very excited to be able to offer that program. It's for the whole family, and it's going to be like a holiday crafts for the family. And I think they'll touch on it in their reports, but thank you to the awareness subcommittee for putting in the word at the town crier to get a little bit more publicity for the homework help. So it was featured in the online version of the newspaper, which is really helpful to help us get the word out. So that's all I have. And if anybody has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
I have a question about the tech help. It's 30 minutes of help. That's amazing. You're going to be like the Apple Store, the geniuses. You're going to have a line out the door. That's amazing.
I know. I like that it's personalized because you could ask specific questions to your device or to whatever you're looking for. So. Yeah.
That's really wonderful. That's I suspect going to be oversubscribed. I'll probably be there 4, 5, 6 times. Wonderful. Any other questions? Fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much, Rose. Appreciate it. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a proposal by the Awareness Committee for the Commission to consider and vote on a project that originated in the Awareness Subcommittee with Charvery. I think last meeting we talked about the Diwali Festival, and Shivari helped the staff put a display, an exhibit in the main library about Diwali, Festival of Lights. And she wrote an article that was published by Bruce Barton in the Los Altos Town Crier online edition as well. And she had the idea of trying to highlight festivals or celebrations by various diverse cultures, countries that would just be unusual, interesting, non-religious, non-political, fun, and educational. And the proposal is to prepare a calendar of perhaps 1 or 2 events per month that if that she would, that would be provided to Rose, and that if there is time and if the display table is available, and if the library staff would like to work on, and celebrate or display one of these festivals, that it would be there, and that the Awareness Committee would help by pulling books and media resources. It also highlights the resources that the library has that relate to that particular culture, that particular festival or celebration. So this is just something that would be a tool that would be available for Rose and her staff to use as they choose, and that's the proposal. So if you have any questions, Shivari will be happy to explain more. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, well, if not,
Sure.
yes, Pierre.
Is there a written proposal?
There
I
is.
mean,
It
Yes,
was,
there is.
oh, okay.
Yes, there is. There will be a list of different festivals that are celebrated across the globe for each month. At least that's what I've found. That list will go to to Rose basically, and then to the librarians that I'll share it with. I'll share it with the commissioners and with Jamie and Freddie, and we'll take it from there. And for example, for January, there are so many that are happening all across the globe that are very interesting and very educational. In China, there is a festival with ice sculptures that is made in the snow. It's like a little city of ice sculptures that's built, and you can actually go and visit it. And that would give you, something to talk about China, something to talk about ice sculpturing, something to read up on, even things to do with how such festivals originated. It's also in January the time for kite flying, because it's the season of windward direction shift. And that kite flying happens in India, it happens in other parts of Asia. And you can read up on how kites are built. I just went to the library 2 days ago and I found all these books there. So it's just very educational, lots of fun. And that's the similar kind of calendar that I'll build. If Rose has the time and the space, perhaps it'll work.
it's completely optional. It's up to Rose and her staff if, to sell, to exhibit one of these or not. But it's just something that would celebrate diversity and different cultures and really some interesting, you found one, the tomato throwing festival.
Yes. Yes, it's a festival that happened in Spain where, it's the season for the harvest of tomatoes, and they actually throw tomatoes on the streets. And lots of tourists go in at that time just to participate in that festival. I thought it was so much fun.
Okay, any other questions? So the proposal in front of the commission is essentially to approve this proposal so that the awareness committee, subcommittee, can go ahead and work on it and make it a regular part of our awareness projects.
I actually had another question, and that what criteria will dictate, I mean, I know that you're going to try to skirt controversy as much as possible, but is this, is the county, will Rose really be the final arbiter as to what, what I'm saying? I mean,
yes, she would be. Yes, she would be. If, it's absolutely suggestions only that are completely at her discretion.
Correct. And she can decide if it's something that's appropriate to the library, to the patrons, to the time, if there is any, feedback that she can give. It's up to her. It's just a suggestion.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to move that the commission approve the awareness subcommittee's requests to create a diverse cultural festival calendar for use by the library staff. I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. So Jamie, would you take the vote, please?
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Bedard.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Dixit.
Yes.
And Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
And Chair Wheeler.
Yes.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the work plan.
Freddie?
Yes?
With awareness yet?
We're not there yet, Carol.
Finish with awareness.
We're not at awareness. We are not in the subcommittee reporting.
Oh, I thought we were when we talked about this.
No. So the next item on the agenda is the work plan. I'll go to, let me just put it out for discussion. Does any commissioner have an update on a work plan that they would like to discuss with the commission as a whole? No? Okay. All right. Let's move on to the informational items. We are now ready to receive a report or information from the Friends of the Library. Hello?
Hi, yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm Elaine Dauber, and I am the acting president of the Friends of the Library. We've gone through a few transitions in the past couple of years. Well, I'm happy to report that everything is starting to move towards normality. Our ongoing sale is doing very well. That's our biggest moneymaker is the ongoing sale in the library. Right now, they're having the special tables with Hanukkah and Christmas books. And Suzanne tells us that they're setting records. In 1 week, the first week of the sale, they earned $1,400, which is, times that by 52. That's a lot of money for the library. We are also doing very well on our Amazon sales. Part of the reason that we're doing even better is because we were so limited in space and being able to sort books, we started scanning every book we get, and we are finding many more books that are very valuable. And our Amazon sales, I think the last 2 fiscal years ago, we earned about 17, 18,000 on Amazon, and this year we're projecting around 55,000. So there has been quite a difference. And we have scheduled our first full book sale in the new community center. It will be the first week in November, first weekend in November. We have the very big room and the 2 medium-sized rooms, so we should be able to put out all the books that we have accumulated, and hopefully the public will throng there to see it. Yeah.
Elaine, you said the first weekend in November.
Oh, I'm sorry, February. I'm sorry.
February. Okay, thank you.
February, I believe it's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Okay. Which unfortunately, I just heard is the same date as the Friends Convention or whatever it is at that the county is putting on. So we may not be represented there. We continue to collect donations only 2 2-hour slots a week. And that is an attempt to keep donations under control because we are limited space-wise. And we are afraid that if we allow anyone to bring donations anytime the library is open, we will be so overwhelmed that we will not be able to handle it. So, and not only that, a lot of people like the idea that they could drive up, drop their books off where there were guys waiting to receive the books. So the donations continue to be accepted Wednesday from 2 to 4 and Saturday from 10 to 12. We just had our first outdoor general meeting at the community center. And there were about 40 people in attendance, and everyone was just glorying in the beautiful weather and seeing each other again and getting to see people that we hadn't seen for a couple years. So I have nothing but good news to report.
That's great. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Elaine?
I don't have a question, but I do want to add to what Elaine was saying about the Amazon sales. I was speaking to another staff member from another library about their Amazon sales, and they make $10,000 a year. So that's pretty amazing that our friends are making 55,000 or possibly more a year. So they're doing a great job.
It's very much a function of how many books we list. And we are finding more and more books to list. Oh, and there was one other item. A lot of people, staff is always asking me, Rose, when the cafe will reopen. And we are waiting for the mask mandate to go off in the library, because otherwise people will be able to buy the food and we don't want them to eat it there. So that will resume as soon as COVID disappears.
Charvery, you have a question?
Yes. Not a question, but an observation. I just wanted to share that I'd been to the library a couple of days ago and I saw the display being set up. It is very nicely done, very nicely done. Their books are, I mean, they're so attractive. I wanted to buy so many, but I decided that I would have just a few that I really wanted. Although Pierre will tell me I did go overboard, because once we had this discussion and he said, don't buy too many, but can't help it. But the display was excellent.
Yes, and we only sell the books that are in the best condition. They were
very well, very well kept. They were new.
And they average in price from $1 to $3 usually. So it's a real boon for the residents of Los Angeles.
Elaine, I have a question. You were saying that you're finding with the Amazon sales, you're finding more and more very valuable books. How do you decide which books to list on Amazon? Is it their value or?
It's several things. We have several criteria. First, the price. The lowest price that it's being sold on Amazon, and it depends on the weight of the book. So our lowest price that we will list a book is for $8 if the book is less than 3 pounds. If it's more than 3 pounds, it has to go up to $10 or $12, depending on how heavy the book is. And then there's something called the desirability rating of a book, which is how fast it's expected to sell. I'm not sure what the criterion is, but something with a desirability rating of 6 million means that 6 million books will sell before this one will sell.
Oh.
So under 1 million is considered really pretty good.
Oh.
We typically sell 1/3 of the books that we list the next day.
Wow.
So
who gives the desirability rating? Is it Amazon?
Amazon.
Oh, okay.
They just keep track of how many sell and how fast, how many books they sell before they sell another one of that book.
Oh, okay. Oh, very interesting.
There's a lot of labor that goes into listing and in deciding how to list and what to list. And I'm happy to report that we have a couple of bookstores around the country who are really good customers of ours. The same people order, the Paper Cavalier in Brooklyn is one of our best customers. I mail 2-3 books a week to him.
Wow.
So we're
interesting. I'd like to see what his markup is. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Elaine? All right. Thank you so much, Elaine.
Oh, sorry. I had to, Elaine, thanks for the update. I mean, it really reinforces why it was so important that the Friends come through this intact. And, the software, the brain matter you guys have on your processes and how you sell books is unbelievable. I mean, and you guys have just refined it and really made it well. So anyway, that's all.
Yeah, I once considered writing a book on how to pack a box of books.
I have one other question for you, Elaine. I volunteer at the Discovery Shop, and most of our volunteers are over 65. I'll put it that way, including myself. And we lost a lot of volunteers because of COVID, but slowly they're starting to come back. Are you finding the same thing true with the Friends?
A little, slowly is correct, because The portable, I don't know if you've seen the portable. The portable is about 600 square feet. And we have a rule that no more than 3 people at a time, even masked, can be in the portable. It used to be 2. So whereas we used to be in the community center, we used to have 30 people in the room at one time. Now we have 3.
So that makes it difficult.
Spread out throughout the week. That's why this meeting where we were all outside and could see each other was such a real shot in the arm for us. It was very nice.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. Thanks so much for your update.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Okay. So Cindy, could we have an update from you on NCLA and Lolly?
Sure. There's no new news for NCLA. There will be a meeting in January, but the date hasn't been confirmed yet. So as soon as that occurs, I will let you know. And there's also no agenda, but we do plan on having a meeting then. And I also wanted to suggest that the Library Commission, if you're not already doing it, is to monitor what's happening with the possibility of having a theater in downtown, because a lot of the things that they're learning and discovering and exploring could be applied to a library rebuild. So the positive things that are occurring, the opposition discussions that are occurring, just all those things. I've been tracking it since it got started again, and it's been very interesting to see their proposal, their statistics, all of that. Lolly, at the members meeting, we had a presentation by Silicon Valley Reads. The project manager's name is Reed Meyer. You know, it's really clever, but she was born with that name, didn't acquire it. And she gave us an update on what's going to happen in 2022 for Silicon Valley Reads. And she also gave us a background of what Silicon Valley Reads has been doing for the last 18 years. I wanted to make sure that the Lolly board understood the partnership between Silicon Valley Reads and Lolly and the library, since we donate quite a bit of money to them every year. And I wanted to make sure it was an easier decision for this year. So Reed gave us a very extensive presentation. As you saw on Steven's presentation, the theme for 2022 was the power of kindness, resilience, and hope. There are 3 keynote speakers. Because of Lolly sponsorship, Los Altos Library is eligible to have a speaker either virtually or in person at the library. So I will be working with Rose, the library, Lolly, and Silicon Valley Reads, all the acronyms, to figure out what we want to do, how we want to host it, and when we want to host it. But we need to come up with a decision pretty quickly because advertising is going out, but also we need to make sure that the keynote speaker is available. And at our December meeting is going to be a changeover of our officers and our board members. We have a couple of board members who are coming off of the board, not because they're not interested in Lolly, but because they have other commitments, and it's time for them to move into that direction. And then we have the possibility of 2 new board members, which I'm quite excited about. And again, a little bit more of the infrastructure is being straightened out or updated. So it's process stuff. So it doesn't seem exciting, but I'm actually very excited about it because it's giving me a fresh look at Lolly and looking at 2022. If you're not already on our mailing list, I'll be sure to get you there, but we are sending out our annual letter. We just mailed out about a third of the letters yesterday, and the rest of them will go out tomorrow and Saturday. So any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. I have been remiss in asking for public comments. Any questions from the public? Jamie, do you see any?
I do not currently see any hands raised.
Okay, thank you. So Jamie, can we go to you next?
Absolutely. So Rose touched on this, but the first one for us is that we have our holiday gingerbread exhibit at the community center. We had roughly 18 registrations, and quite a few of them have been dropped off. They're being displayed in the Manzanita room in the community center. And I will say there is such a variety, and I will say I'm quite impressed with some of the displays. They're quite just detailed and very well put together. So if you have an opportunity to stop by and see, it would be great. And again, we are partnering with Rose and her staff in the library to do crafts on Saturday, December 11th between 10 and 4. And so really excited to just celebrate the holidays, and it'll be decorated for the holidays. I'm excited because I love the holiday season. We'll have quite a few decorations in the lobby as well too. So it should be a really nice display. And then just have to do a plug. We are still hiring for facility attendants again. We opened the community center in October and approved our rental fee schedule at the end of October, and starting to get a lot of interest. And so just needing the staff to help us support the many uses of the community center and many of our other city facilities. So information about the job posting is in the report, and additional information and being able to apply is on the city website as well too. And then finally, we're closing out our fall season and getting ready for winter. But again, classes go through mid-December. Can't believe it's December 2nd already, but we're here at the end of the year and getting ready for our winter season, which will begin in January. And really hoping to see, although winter is usually our smaller time, we're hoping to get some additional classes going now that the community center is open. And then obviously too, just always want to list current information. And so the city's website has information on the COVID vaccine implementation as well too, just to provide information and resources. But that's it for me, and open to any questions if there are any.
Do any of the commissioners or any of our other guests have questions for Jamie? I have one question, and actually, Jamie, it's for you and for Rose. Are your staff being more diverted for disaster service work or plans with the children's vaccine? Or have there been any discussions about perhaps ramping up for boosters more so than you have?
Either I'll go first. And so for city, at the moment, our staff is, although some of them are designated, not exactly the same as I think the county staff, but for us staff, there is an encouragement for obviously boosters and regular testing and vaccines, but that's essentially where city staff is currently at.
Okay. Rose, your staff has fallen away.
Yes,
yeah.
We still have staff who are currently helping as disaster service workers. We don't know when we'll get them back, but we hope to get them back before we expand hours and once the rush with the children's and with the boosters has finished. Okay. So, but we still, they're still helping out right now.
Okay, thank you. All right. Did I ask about any questions from the public for Jamie?
And I'll give it just a second, but I do not currently see any hands raised.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's go on to the commissioners' reports, and this is where each of the subcommittees will report. The infrastructure subcommittee is listed first. So we had a subcommittee meeting on November 18th, and we agreed that we would try to develop a proposal for a feasibility study for the interior, a redesign of the interior of the Woodland Branch. And we will work on that. In due time, we will try to come up with something. Let's see. We also were wondering if the county could come back and let us know the results of the patio door maintenance and whether or not that fixed the noise. Rose, do you know if the maintenance was done and if it helped fix the noise problem?
So it was there was maintenance done on it, and they did adjust it. So as of right now, the staff haven't reported that it's still continuing to not close all the way. So I haven't. I've asked staff to kind of keep an eye on it, and I haven't received any reports from them. Okay.
Okay, and we did meet at the Orchard Room. One of the things we were looking at is looking to see whether or not the Orchard Room would lend itself to being divided using a movable partition similar to the ones that are in other library meeting rooms and at the community center. Some of the rooms in the community center have a movable divider so that you can separate one room into 2 meeting rooms. And we did look at it. There are, there are a number of things that would have to be modified, moved, added, etc. One of the things that we do need to find out is whether or not each meeting room has to have a direct exit, a door that directly exit to the outside. And we don't know that as yet. But we will report on that more fully at the next meeting when Nelvin is back, okay? I believe that pretty well summarizes what the infrastructure subcommittee has been working on. Cheryl, would you like to add to that report?
I don't think I have anything to add. I think you covered it.
Okay.
I don't think we did anything further in the meeting.
Okay.
Sort of in a holding pattern, waiting to get more information.
Yes. We have a number of things. We have an outline, some ideas, and et cetera, for how you could divide the Orchard Room, and whether or not it would make sense to do so would of course be up to the library, to Rose and the library staff. Okay, that's the report from the infrastructure subcommittee. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, does any member of the public have any questions?
I do not currently see any hands raised, Freddie.
Okay. So the services subcommittee is next.
Hi, I guess I'll take it. We are waiting for, well, we've requested a meeting with Manny on the drop boxes, both for the Civic Center and for Woodland. Rose sent Manny the proposal that was voted on by the commission and approved. And the other big thing we're working on, or we're hoping for, is information from Rose, the follow-up on the surveys that were done, and sort of try to get a handle on what services are. There's so many new services that are out there, as Steve was showing, and then also how has, looking objectively at how services have changed over the pandemic and sort of adapting to that. So that's sort of what we're looking at.
Okay. Any questions by the commissioners or any of our guests? Okay, any questions from the public?
And do not currently see any hands raised.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
The awareness subcommittee is up next. And Jamie, I never remember, does your item have to be open or closed to be able to share it?
It does have to be an open window in order to be shared.
Okay, thank you. All right. I want to show this first. Share screen. Okay. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things that the awareness subcommittee has been trying to do, we've done it twice successfully now, is to get some free publicity for programs that the library is doing in the town crier. And Rose asked if we would help publicize Homework Help, which is a great resource that the library is offering right now, where grades 7 to 12 can get free tutoring, free in-person tutoring. So Charvery wrote up this little article to describe the this program, and we sent it to Bruce Barton, who's the editor of the Town Crier, and he said he would be happy to feature it. And it's actually in the print edition of yesterday's Town Crier. So that was great. The other things that we've been doing are Carol, who has been so active in identifying outlets that will do PSAs for the library. She was able to go to Stanford, and Carol, you want to tell us that you were finally able to connect?
Yes. Rose, did you get I sent you an email today. Did you get it? Okay. It is my impression that they do not understand that they are under the umbrella of the Santa Clara County Library system. From the person, I gave you the name of the person I spoke to. I would suggest, I gave her the ad that you had given me online. They work primarily through email. It's a rather large office. It has the Stanford attitude, okay? So I would suggest to you that you just continue to send them notices, and perhaps Steve or Jennifer, using their title, okay, would inform them about their ability to utilize our services and to take part in the events that we want to publicize. All right, that was my feeling from my meeting today. They never responded to any email or phone call. And I think you had a similar experience, didn't you? So I left that information with them, but my feeling was that they are only going to deal with it online. So go ahead and send it to them as soon as you can. The same thing that I gave you today, and continue sending it to them. Somehow we need to inform that particular office at Stanford that they are entitled to our services, and they should make their community aware of the events that are open to them. It was an interesting experience.
That is interesting that they, I mean, it's resources and great events that that I know many of their people would really enjoy. Another one of the action items that we identified was, you know, we have currently identified and reached out to the Los Altos High School newspaper, The Talon, which is online and maybe print at some point. But it was pointed out to us that we should also look at Mountain View High School and Homestead High School, because people in Los Altos go to both of those high schools. So Charvery identified the two newspapers. Both of those high schools have newspapers. The Epitaph is Homestead's and the Oracle is Mountain View's. So we will reach out to them and find out if they have the same arrangement that the Talon does as far as PSAs or ads, so that we'll get you that information, Rose. Our Lolly ads, we were going to do the Mercury News in December. That was going to be the, oh, I'm sorry, Elaine, did you have a question? I can't hear you.
Oh, Elaine, you're on mute. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to add a comment that you might also approach Gunn High School, because we are the library of Los Altos and Los Altos Hills, and half of Los Altos Hills attends Gunn High School.
Thank you. That's a good suggestion. Okay.
And Regina had also, and I had also brokered a relationship with the Mid-Peninsula Post.
We have that
which,
already.
Yeah, so you've got that. Okay.
Yeah. We were looking at high schools, and that's a good suggestion. Okay. So we were going to feature the Mercury News in December, but Rose had a great idea. She suggested that because people are shopping for presents in December, that we feature the consumer reports for our December Lolly ad. So I believe we sent a draft ad. It's been reviewed by everyone. Rose made some changes, and I think we're good to go, Rose, on that ad. So we'll have that one for December. We'll move Mercury News to January, and we're hoping to focus our February ad on the reopening of the passport office at the main library in Los Altos. And we haven't identified the March ad as yet. So the festivals, we talked about that. Let's see what else. That was it, except we did want to discuss something about trying to, so Rose had a holiday program that she wanted us to think about, having a text that she would provide us that we would then post on our Nextdoor accounts, so that we could get the word out to members of our community via Nextdoor, which is certainly a good way to communicate, to get the word out at no charge. And as long as it was a text that Rose provided and approved, and we all posted the same thing in our different neighborhoods, this would be a way we could help publicize and create awareness of particular events that the library is holding. So we thought we would get your feedback and your thoughts about doing this at this meeting. Does anybody have any objections or concerns about posting?
I do. I have found Nextdoor to be very contentious. And often the people who weigh in are contentious about matters that are surprising to me. So I would say that I have a concern about this.
Okay. Does anyone else have a concern, Pierre?
I have a concern about Nextdoor in general, in that they seem to be willing to redraw civic boundaries so that, you know, we can't possibly talk to an entire town under one umbrella. In other words, what I post in North Los Altos doesn't necessarily make it into other places in Los Altos and Los Altos Hills. Some places it's frustrating. It'd be nice to have a method of coverage through Nextdoor, but it can be contentious, but you just have to, you know, put up with it.
I know one thing that can, so I pay attention to Nextdoor, you know, because I keep getting these feeds of, you know, postings, but my general experience has been that it's not contentious about matters that are really not contentious, you know, that don't lend themselves to become being contentious. And I think, so Rose, I'm not sure if this holiday crafting event, is that the one that you were thinking about maybe us trying to publicize on Nextdoor?
Yeah, it's the one we're partnering with Parks and Recs with. So it's a city, yeah.
That's the one I was thinking. So, I mean, it's a crafts for kids holiday. I just think it would, and if it becomes contentious, you can just simply remove your post and that completely cuts it off. So can we, you know, do you think this would be okay to do? Not okay? Jamie, what do you think?
No, I will say similar to what the group has talked about is we have used Nextdoor just to get the word out, and again, usually it's to inform of events. And I will say to as some of the other commissioners have mentioned, that it's not a broadcast where you can make sure that you reach everyone. The way that it is broken up is a little bit interesting, and it can create some challenges, but I think it has been one of the social media outlets that we usually do include, just so that we can make sure we're doing a variety of outreach. So the city has used it in the past, but I will say it's not one of our more successful. I think some of our other ways that we market sometimes are a little bit more successful, but I think we still include it just to make sure that we're hitting all of those avenues to get the information out.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, when it's usually helpful if you want to get something publicized on Nextdoor to try to ask, okay, what neighborhood are you? What neighborhood are you? And you try to send your message to people that you know are in a different neighborhood than you are, so that they can post it. And that way you can hit as many people as possible. I mean, the whole idea is just to get the word out, you know, and not that you're trying to, you know, have a Madison Avenue marketing campaign, but it can be helpful. Is this something, maybe if we could just have a show of hands, is this something that you would be willing to do?
No.
I
Pierre,
probably would agree with Carol and say no.
You would say no? Okay. Well, maybe those of us who would be willing to do it could do it. And Rose, if you have a blurb that you want to send me, or I can distribute it. Okay, I could distribute it to Pierre, and or you could just copy Pierre, and then we could post it on our Nextdoor. Okay.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll try it. we'll see what happens. Can't hurt, hopefully. All right. Okay,
Oh, and Chair Wheeler, Friends of the Library had their hand raised.
oh, okay, I'm sorry, Elaine, I didn't see your hand, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I wasn't going to say anything, and then I thought maybe I will. This is just another suggestion. We get a lot of offers from high school kids that they want to volunteer in some way or other, especially now juniors who are starting to look at college. And it's my experience, if you want to communicate with kids, you have to you need the experts, the kids who know how to communicate with each other. So perhaps the next time we get an offer from a high school kid, and there are all kinds of societies in the schools that offer the kids as volunteers, that we ask them, you know, how would you get this out to all your peers or all the younger siblings of your peers? And I think they might know how to do it.
Great idea. That's a great idea. And maybe you could, and if you find, you know, if you can pass that information along to us and perhaps the person, you know, and see if they would help us, that would be very, very useful.
Okay, well, the library gets some of these requests and the Friends get some requests. And when I get a request that I think might work, I'll just forward it on to you.
That would be great. Thank you, Elaine. Very much appreciated. Okay, because you're right. It's their world. Okay.
Also, I think the newspapers that you were talking about, Talon and the others that the children run in their schools, those might be really useful to us in spreading the word out, because we don't do all the TikTok and whatever else social media is.
No, yes, we don't. And they may have also ideas on how to communicate with their parents, because some of these, you know, the crafting things might be for younger kids, but if they have, you know, if they have younger siblings, how do you get how do you get the attention of their parents? Okay, I believe that's all for the awareness subcommittee. Any questions from the public?
I do not currently see any hands raised.
So the future subcommittee, Nelvin is out of the country and I don't see Julie. Is there another member of futures?
No, and I think Ying had to pop off as well, so.
Yes, okay. All right, well, we'll hold the futures report till the next meeting when Nelvin is back. The work plan subcommittee.
Well, I mean, Ying's not here, not much to report. Work plan was presented, work plan was approved.
Okay. I want to just raise a question. And I wish Ying was on still, but because most of us are updating our work plan, would it make sense to consider whether this subcommittee should continue, or how do people feel about each subcommittee being responsible for its own work plan? Because Jamie is the one who actually consolidates the report. Is that correct, Jamie? My understanding is that consolidating it falls on you.
Yeah, and in the past, when we had initially created the work plan, there was a kind of a large overhaul that I know that that subcommittee worked on. And now that that framework has been established, unless there's going to be a need for maybe larger changes that need to be done. But I know that was kind of the initial work. And then even too, I know they kind of worked on the presentation as well. But if the framework is working and that kind of remains consistent, there may not necessarily need to be a need. And at any time, you can always bring back a subcommittee. So it really is up to the commission. Obviously, the intent of the subcommittee is to help with the work that can come back to the full commission. But yeah, you can always bring it back, put it on hold, whatever the desire of the commission might be.
I know when I
Here, I'll make it easy. I'll make a motion that we get rid of, well, I don't use better terms, but disassemble the work plan subcommittee or disband the work plan subcommittee. I make a motion that we disband. Okay.
I'll second.
Shivari?
I had a question. I had understood that even though each subcommittee had its own idea of what to do next, which would be its work plan, the work plan subcommittee actually can think beyond that, try to think of ideas that might be needed or something that we may have overlooked because we are just working on whatever is our current focus. And I thought, so it would be a superset. And then that work plan committee would come up with, you know, asking each subcommittee and consolidate that, give that to Jamie. Is that incorrect? Because then simply disassembling the work plan committee, we would not have somebody who would be a superset and look at the work plan for each subcommittee. So maybe the work plan committee can meet less frequently or have less on its agenda, but completely disbanding it may change, and we may never be able to have that that superset. Does that make sense?
Yes, I know when I joined the commission, that's when I believe you had formed this subcommittee, because you kind of created the subcommittees, the work plan out of whole cloth to give us a starting point. Is that correct, Pierre?
Yeah, yes, our idea was to give us something to unify the group around, a work plan to unify the group around. The role you're describing is totally right on, Shivari. I mean, you need somebody who's in the middle of it. I had actually assigned myself to the work plan subcommittee as a chair to fulfill that need. So whether the chair fulfills that need on his or her own, or as a member of this subcommittee, the hope, I think, at least this is my aspiration, is that he or she would control the work plan, or at least work with Jamie to make sure that we had, you know, something that was fairly cohesive and made sense. So whether you have the subcommittee or not, it's, you know, but if we were to have the subcommittee, I would definitely propose that Freddie be a part of that subcommittee. And that's, you know, so those are your options. Does that make sense?
You know, the point that Shivari raised that I thought was a really something I hadn't thought about was not the administrative work of just, you know, putting their work plan together, because I think each subcommittee should be capable of updating and maintaining its work plan and making it current, so that when we report to the commission that, or I'm sorry, to the city council, that, you know, we should own our own work plans, in my opinion. But it's the looking for projects beyond what's on the work plan. That is valuable. Having someone sit back to go, yeah, we're doing all this stuff, but here's something that's unmet. This is something that we haven't addressed that we should maybe think about addressing. That, Charvery, is very important, I would think.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Yes.
And Pierre, having that as part of the purview of the work plan subcommittee would be, I think, in my own opinion, be very valuable. And
so just keep things as they are, and just, yeah, that actually wouldn't be that bad a thing to do.
I think that's right. I think that makes much more sense. Yeah. Okay. Does everybody agree?
All right, I withdraw my motion.
Perfect. I withdraw my comment.
From my side.
Okay. Does everyone agree?
Sure.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So I think, does the public have any questions or comments?
I just going to give it a second. No hands raised.
Okay. So then we should go to potential future agenda items. Does anyone have a future agenda item that they would like to raise at the moment?
Freddie, do you want to put the issue of the use of the parcel tax on as an agenda item?
I don't think so.
How that money could be spent?
I don't think so. I think that's probably something that would best be handled. I will just disclose that that I have spoken with Council Members Meadows, who is our liaison, about that, and I believe Councilmember Meadows, if you wouldn't mind, I believe she has mentioned perhaps raising that issue to Mayor Flagger, who is the president of the board of NCLA, and certainly Cindy, as our NCLA board member, appointed board member. I think maybe that's best handled as a discussion that they have. Council Member Meadows, can I get you to weigh in a bit?
Sure, just as my doorbell rings. Oh, well. No, that's okay. So I think when we spoke, we talked about a number of different items, and actually, Cindy, you'd be involved in sort of pulling together this information. And so I think we'd be better to answer that question after we pull that information together, and can, because we had a strategy that we sort of laid out, and based on pulling everything together, we'd be able to make a recommendation. So I would say tonight is premature, but I'm open to, of course, whatever you want to say, Chair Wheeler and Commissioner Hill.
I think that, I think it's a bit premature at this moment, okay?
So I'm not quite understanding, is the Library Commission or people on the commission thinking about making a recommendation to NCLA about how to spend the money?
No, that really wasn't
okay.
it. We had done just some research into how the parcel tax revenue could be spent by looking at, one, how the ballot measure was presented to the voters, and then the language of the ballot measure itself. Mm-hmm. It was just the issue that was raised, as that board member Epstein raised, that that parcel tax revenue could only be spent for extending the hours of the Woodland branch. And
Pierre reflects our assessment.
Yeah. And I also spoke to Jamie about it, and it certainly does appear that the parcel tax revenue can be spent for more things than just extending the hours of the library.
And we've had a legal opinion given to us. So in addition to Pierre's legal opinion, we've had our attorney look at it a few years ago. And yes, the council has been that it can be spent in different ways. It's not as narrowly defined as it's been stated.
Thank you. Okay. So just, you know, so I know, so Carol, no, at this time, I don't think we need to discuss that. We will discuss that as part of a plan to put a proposal in front of the NCLA at some point in the future. Pierre?
For Carol's benefit, a member of the public wrote read the NCLA agreement and wrote an assessment of the NCLA agreement and published it as part of as a letter to the NCLA. And I'll send you a copy of what I filed as a member of the public. But it definitely pushed the extremely liberal, very liberal viewpoint as to what the funds could be used for as a member of the public, not as a member of the commission. But I can send you, it's sort of, I actually read the contract, which was done in 1985, which was very interesting.
Okay.
Back in the days of Selectrics. You'd know that. Anyway.
Well, I also think it's important as to what the ballot measure said.
Right.
That's the controlling issue. Yeah. Okay. Any other potential future agenda items? Pierre?
I don't know if this is an agenda item or something that as a commission we should discuss, but there seems to be a preponderance of subcommittees, like a subcommittee explosion as to construction and what to do with lands. And we're not part of any of it. And why? I mean, apologies, it's an open-ended agenda item, but what does it all mean? I mean, we have a bunch of disparate groups going for a bunch of disparate agendas around the same general parcels, but also the same general arts and entertainment community within the community. It just seems odd to me as an outsider looking in to see this stuff going on. And that's just, Chair, that's an idea. I'm not saying put it on the agenda. I'm just.
Okay. Thank you. Does anyone else have any suggestions for future agenda items? All right. Any other business? All right. Going once, going twice. All right. Thank you so very much. I think we can adjourn the meeting at 7:48 p.m. Thank you very much. And I guess happy holidays, and we will see you in the new year. So have a wonderful holiday, everyone.
Here, Elaine.
Thank you.
This is for you, Elaine.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.